Okay, 8th graders, we're going to move on to a different equation now. We've talked about the slope-intercept equation, which is where you have an equation that's solved for y, and then you have it has a coefficient of x term, and then it has a numerical term. The numerical term is b, and the coefficient of x has m, which is the slope, and then you can graph it using the y-intercept and the slope. Then we covered the standard form equation, where you can find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and then graph the line. That's what we did last time, where you put in 0 for x and find y, and then you put in 0 for y, and you find x. And today we're going to move on to a new equation. It's called the point-slope equation. All right? What do you think it has in it? A point, so 2 coordinates, and the slope. And if you're given the point and the slope, then you can find the slope-intercept. You can get you can put in the point to find the slope-intercept. All right. So first, let's say that you're given a point like this. Or 2 points. If you know what 2 points are, you can find the slope. All right. So,
Can I go to Mr. Obisky to ask for an ibuprofen for my knee?
Can you wait just 5 minutes so that you don't miss the teaching here? Okay. So first, look at this procedure. It says first, if you're given 2 points, find the slope. Okay? So, if you have 0, 2, and 1, 4, you find the slope. 4 minus 2, 1 minus 0. The slope is 2 over 1. Now, you use the equation, so y minus y1, that's the first coordinate of y, equals m, which we just found. M is the slope. M times x minus x1. And x1 is the first coordinate of the first point. So if we use this point, and you could use either point, but let's just say we use 0, 2. Since it has a 0 in it, it might be easier to use. You put the x term in for x1, and you put the y term into the y1 spot, and then simplify it and solve it for y. To solve it for y, you get rid of the numerical term, so you add 2 to both sides. And since x minus 0 is just x, we have y minus 2 equals 2x. Add 2, so y equals 2x plus 2, and we can graph this, can't we? Using the slope and the y-intercept. Mark 2 on the y, and then go up 2 and over 1. Okay? Now, if you go to your books, they start by just giving you some points, or just to get you to solve for y. Okay? So number 1, so that you know how to do these, number 1 is, well, I'll do 2 for you, since that's going to be a part of your assignment. Number 2, okay? And I'm going to put the notes back up there, so if you didn't finish copying, that's okay. But they give you this equation, y minus 2 equals 2 times x minus 3. Now, let's take a look at the equation. What is the 2? What part of the equation is it? You probably wrote that part down. That's m. So 2 is the slope. What is the point that's given? So x is -3. Good, Keyshawn. So they give you x is -3. And y is? Oops, I'm sorry, it's not -3. Since the, oh no, we need this plus, but since the equation is x minus x1, x1 is just 3. And y minus y1, that means that y is just 2. All right?
So the coordinate is 3, 2?
Yeah. The point that we're using is 3, 2, and we're using a slope of 2. Now, they just put it into the equation for you already. All right? So we're just using like some of that computer coding stuff that we've learned about reverse engineering. And we're reverse engineering this equation to figure out the point that we're using and the slope. All right? So now to solve it for y, first, you have to distribute the 2. You have to multiply the 2 over the parentheses, right?
2x.
So 2x plus -6 equals y minus 2. Then add 2 to both sides, and y equals 2x plus -4. That's it. That is solved. Now, how would you graph it?
Let's see.
On the y.
Go over 2, up 1. Wait.
So it was y equals 2x plus -4.
Okay.
You go up to.
So does that?
So mark the y-intercept, -4, on the y-axis.
Go down 4.
Yep. Start there.
Over 2, up 1.
No, up and over.
Well,
So
then,
it's up to right.
but 2 is,
One.
but 2 is x.
No, 2 is the slope.
We're now.
Remember, the slope is the rise over the run.
That means.
The rise is 2, the run is 1.
So then shouldn't y be on top and x on bottom? No.
It's not the y and the x. This is the slope. This is the change in the y over the change in the x.
Mr. Lasky?
So it's the rise is 2 and the run is 1. Rise is 2, run is 1. And it creates this line. And that's how you graph it. Bailey.
So the point with so the point in the slope form is turn it into standard form so that you can put it on a graph.
No, we're changing it into the slope-intercept form. So this is m and this is b.
Right.
So this is the y equals mx plus b form.
Okay, so y mx plus b, that's slope-intercept form, or not.
Yes, slope-intercept form.
Okay, but then standard form is
ax plus by equals c. That's where you put in 0 in for the x
okay. I was
and
thinking,
0 in for the y. And that's a different way to graph an equation.
right, but the point with point slope form is to turn it into slope-intercept form. So
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yes.
now I understand.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Any questions on what we did here? Okay? Not yet. Now, number 10. You have to do number 10. So, number 10 is 3. They give you this point, 3 comma -4. And they give you a slope of 6. What do we do with this?
let's see. Y
minus negative 4
minus?
minus
Oh, right.
negative, because it's y
always,
minus
it's
y,
always
y.
subtraction. Is it
Yes.
always, okay.
Yep,
So
it's
then
always
it's-
subtraction.
So then just put plus 4.
Equals m, what is m?
3. No, it's 6.
6 times, and you always put
X
parentheses,
minus 3.
x minus
3.
x1, so 3. So that's 6x plus negative 18 equals y plus 4, right? Because minus minus equals plus. Then add negative 4. So y equals 6x plus negative 22. Right? We're going to need a bigger graph. Y equals 6x plus negative 22. So let's use this large one.
Oh, right.
Okay? So here's 20, here's 22. Y equals 6x plus negative 22. Negative 22 is the y-intercept. And then it goes up 6. 2, 4, 6. And over 1. Right?
Oh, yeah.
16 to 10 and over 1. So that is your line.
Ow.
Okay?
It hurts.
Any questions? Make sure you put arrows on your line. Any questions on using the point slope form? Okay,